driving down through my trail today, and it's amazing how nature's reclaiming things so fast. I haven't been over here really much at all this summer because of my leg injury, and this is growing up like crazy. Right here's my orchard, and I can hardly see the trees in there. Wow! There's an apple tree. That apple tree's doing well this summer, but I can't even see my trees in there for how much everything's grown up. I got to get over here and do some work at this. Cut all this brush down, open my trail back up. Usually I'm on it so much there with, you know, walking and wheelbarrow and my ATV that it keeps all the growth back. But see, it's a jungle over here this year. It would take basically just one summer to cover up the trail that I had here for years. Within a couple of years you'd have trees growing on it, and you'd never know there was a trail here probably within 2 or 3 summers. It's early July 2023. We're at my orchard here. It's been a while since I've been down here, and I was surprised by just how overgrown things had gotten early this summer. I'm obviously not getting around very well still, but I'm able to drive my three-wheeler around a bit and hobble around to do some things. And I found that my trees down here, I've got an apple tree here. I think that's silverberry over there, another apple behind me. Things were getting completely choked out by the native plants down here, and everything that I plant doesn't tend to grow as well as what grows here naturally, but things really took off this year, and I think it's been a combination of the rain and good weather we've had for growing, as well as all the mulch that I had spread down here. So I might be onto something. That I came down here the other year and I spread a lot of mulch around, mostly hay, but I threw like pumpkins from Halloween and all kinds of stuff in here just to break down and feed the soil. And initially it was thick enough that it choked out some of the native plants. It kept them suppressed there last summer, but as it broke down this year, all of the native growth came right up through, and in spots back here it's gotten higher than my trees. You know, I'm up to waist tall or more with some of these plants. So now what I have to do today is try to get down here with my cutters and chop all of this down. And what that's going to do is leave this again to break down. It's going to suppress the growth underneath it. It's going to retain water and in the soil. And it's going to provide nutrients to break down all over again to feed the stuff that I planted down here. Also, by putting hay in here the other year, I noticed that I'm getting a lot of grasses now starting down low. And this is fantastic, because my vision for down here was that I would have pasture land underneath a canopy of fruit and nut trees. And it looks like that may actually happen. And the more I cut stuff down, I think it's going to favor the grasses coming up, because stuff like these here, my raspberries, they're choking out the grass from underneath. And anyway, I think I'm on to a method for establishing pasture here and building soil. So I'm going to get at it here now for a little bit and hobble around and try to cut down everything else and expose what I have planted for my orchard. I'm finding this really difficult, so I've got to put all my weight on one leg, bend down, and then chop an area. And as soon as I go to move, I have to pick up my crutches just to move even a step or so, because I'm still not weight bearing on my knee. I've mentioned in a couple past videos that I tore my meniscus in my jiu-jitsu class here in June, and I'm going to be off this lag for a while. We had planned to have livestock over here this summer, and I was building up to have pigs rotate over this land, and sadly I can't manage that, and all my other projects are on hold as well. I can't carry logs and do the stuff that I had planned to do for the channel and for the property here this summer. So I appreciate people bearing with us. Our videos have really slowed down the last while. I guess I can hop forward, but anyways, this will get better over time, and I'll get back to what we do over here and hopefully pick up the content again at some point. See the height of some of this stuff, it's almost up to head height. Things are growing awesome down here. Over here, I think a silverberry, which is a nitrogen fixing plant that I've dispersed in amongst my trees to again help improve the soil. You can see the height of my raspberry and whatnot around here was right up around it and choking it out. So this really had to be done, and I just got to suck it up and squat down on my one leg and try to get all this cleared out of here. I've also got a few native trees here in the orchard that I need to cut back today or cut them down because they're just starting to get too large and shade too much around the area. So before I cut the tree down here at the base, I'm going to take all the leaves off, because again the leaves here provide nitrogen down in that soil. And so I'll just come along and cut everything I can for vegetation off of it. Okay, so that should do it. There's really not much left on the tree here. Okay, and the woody part that's left here, this goes on my fence to try to prevent moose or deer from coming into the orchard and grazing on the plants that I've planted. The more mulch I bring in here and throw down, I think specifically hay so that it can seed the ground underneath with grasses, the better the natural growth comes up the next year or two, in which case the more mulch I have to go and cut down and leave back down on the ground again. So this tells me I've got a little bit of a cycle going here, and if I can bring in a whole lot more hay and spread it all over this area, I'm going to get a lot more natural growth coming up, which in turn is going to mean a lot more feed coming back down on the ground when I chop it down. I left this last patch here of weeds just to show the difference between what's been cut down and what it looked like beforehand. I'm going to get rid of these and then I'm done for the day. It's got to be 30 degrees out here. It's midday, and that's 30 degrees Celsius or more. And my right leg's hurting now. It's getting pretty tired. So I didn't get the entire orchard done, but I made some good progress on it. And again, the strategy for mulching seems to be working quite well down here. Now, the only thing about that is that I don't want to be reliant on bringing in outside sources of nutrient, like even old hay from people's barns. It's still relying on bringing materials in order to build the soil health up. So eventually my answer to that is going to be bringing livestock in here and letting them graze around. but I can't do that until my trees are large enough that the livestock doesn't eat those. So I've got a few years to go, I think, before I'm going to be able to bring sheep, say, into an area like this. But we'll get there eventually. And then once we get livestock rotating over these areas, they're going to build the soil for us, and we're not going to need any outside inputs at all. No fertilizers or mulch or anything. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Stay on the channel, and we'll try to get back on track over the next few months while I get healed up. Look, to go for a nice long drive on my three-wheeler here to cool off today. I feel like a kid again. I can't drive the clutch in my car, so this machine's my only source of freedom here for the time being, and I love this thing. Cheers.